Good morning and welcome to today's vlog. If you watched last week's video, you will know I had a very successful trip to the garden centre, as you can see. And so in today's video, what I wanted to do was basically just start getting this all planted. So I thought I would take you with me while I do that. I wanted to show you sort of my process for when I have this many plants, how I lay them out, and sort of decide on their locations. I also need to assemble the tomato trellises, so I'll do that with you as well, just so you can kind of see how I do mine. I've got a bit of garden cleaning up to do. Yeah, it's just going to be a very sort of, probably very garden heavy vlog today. Trying to get this all on the ground before the hot weather starts. I was looking at the weather forecast this morning, and I think next week we're starting to get like 30 and 31, and we're still technically in winter. But yes, so we've got all these absolutely gorgeous plants, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is start to just lay them out. So when I have this many plants to plant, I think that what I normally do is sort of have a look at all of the tags, work out what locations are like it would suit them best. So they need full sun, part shade, that kind of thing, and then kind of go around the garden, and in this places where I've got gaps that need to be filled with plants, I'll place them in like a preferred location that will hopefully suit their needs and that they will be very happy in. So let's do that first, and then I think once the plants are all in their positions, then I might do a little bit of a vegetable garden tidy up, get the tomato trellises assembled, and then we'll kind of go through and start planting. And then once everything's sort of in, I will give you a bit of an updated sort of little cottage garden tour, so you can see how it all looks once it's all planted. So I hope you enjoy today's video, and yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay, so first one's first, I'm going to start placing some of these little compact whites. So you can see here on the back, full sun, part shade, and they're quite a small plant. They don't get very tall. I did have some locations in mind when I bought these, so I already kind of know roughly where I'm going to place them. But I will swing you around. You probably haven't sort of seen this section of the garden before. So we're just going to put one in here. It is shaded in this area right now, but we do get a little bit of sun through here during the day as the sun comes overhead. But so that's the first one, and then I will kind of just go through and start planting the others. Not planting, placing the others. And then we're going to put another one in here. So as you can see, this plant here has died. We've been unable to save it. So this plant will go in there once that's been pulled out. So I'm just going to leave that there. I have recruited Mum today to help with all the planting so that it gets done in a reasonable time frame. And then just down here, there is another one that has died. So it's just going to go in here, and we will pull that plant out there. Okay, so now I've got two of these quicksilvers. So the quicksilver needs full sun, moderate water moderately, and it only gets 15 centimeters high, but it does have a little bit of a spread to it, which is nice. So I'm thinking I'm going to put one here, which is sort of just up in sort of this little pathway area where the wisteria is. I think we'll pop one there, and then I might put the other one just in here. I think that will be really pretty. That gets a fair bit of sun here in this location, and it would just add some beautiful color here. And then next I'm just doing these fairy lights. So I think I'm going to put one here. So they're a full sun, part shade, and this area kind of gets full sun, part shade. So I might, actually I wonder if I put it a little bit back there. I wonder if I put that there. I wonder how wide. That, maybe like that. Because these don't have, they're very short. They only get, that's probably as high as it will get, and they're quite a slow grower. So I've got one more of these, so I might actually put that here. So I've kind of got like a little grouping of them, and then I'll put this one at the back. And then maybe I'll do another fairy lights in this location here. So the next one I have is this beautiful white sort of daisy. It requires full sun. It gets about 60 centimeters high and about 70 centimeters wide. So I'm thinking to pop it in this location here, just next to the water feature. We've got this little gap at the back here, and I just think to add some beautiful white into that space will look lovely. So you can sort of see already in that space, it's really just brightened it up. It is in shade now because it's being shaded by the water feature, but as the sun kind of goes overhead, it will get full sun. So I think that'll go really well there. All right, so next I've got these ground cover roses. I've got the popcorn color, the white one, and I've also got the peach drift. I'm gonna put it in this space. I'll just step back so you can see. I'm gonna pop it in this space here. This is already a miniature rose, and you can see it's very happy in this location. We've got all new buds coming through. And then we've sort of got like the little wall here of jasmine. This plant here didn't make it, which is fine, it happens. So we'll pull that out. Then this with the popcorn color, I think, to go sort of here at the front, and then it can kind of go round, and then the peach here at the back, just so it's not too close to this one because the colors are a little bit similar, and then that can kind of go around that bit there. But yeah, so hopefully they're both happy. The smell, I mean, the jasmine is starting to bloom now, and the smell of the jasmine, just you can smell it through the whole sort of back garden, which is beautiful. But the smell of these roses is just really stunning as well. So I'm sort of thinking this will be like our little fragrant part of the garden. We've got all those beautiful smells that will just sort of carry through on the breeze. All right, I've changed my mind. I think here where the water fountain is, I'm actually going to pop the pink daisy. I just think there's a lot of we've kind of got these striped white ones here, and I think the pink will really just pop in this area. So I've just swapped that out and just popped the pink ones in there. They look gorgeous with all the greenery. And then I have rehomed the white daisy just over to this side here. Again, just to add some beautiful color into this space. These quicksilvers only get 15 centimeters, so it'll be really pretty along this sort of rock border. And then this gets quite tall, so I think that'll look lovely there. And then this little grass here, the fairy light grasses, can kind of go in the back in this section and fill that in. So I think that'll be really pretty. And then next I just have these two. So this is the yellow Bidens for here, and then this is that peach toned succulent. I'm just popping them at sort of the end here. Again, it is still quite early in the morning, so the sun hasn't fully sort of come overhead yet, but both require full sun and they don't get super tall. So I think that they'll do really well in this space where we've got the wall of jasmine and the fir tree or cypress tree or whatnot, and I just think it'll add some color. If I step back, you'll see there's sort of quite a lot of sort of green and white in this space, but I think the peach and the yellow will be just really pretty. So that's where I've placed those two. So I've also placed one of the compact whites and the fairy lights here just near the red crepe myrtle. We had a plant casualty earlier in the season, and so this has just been a little bit empty for a while, and neither of these will get too high and hopefully bother the crepe myrtle. I also thought to add one of the compact whites into this gap here. This is night jasmine, so I just think if we cut this back a little bit and then this can just go back in there and it'll fill out that space there. This plant here is looking a little bit sad, so I'm thinking we'll pull this out and another compact white can go into here. And then I've also added just down here behind this rock one of the fairy lights to hopefully fill in this gap here. These are I think they were the blushberry ruffle lavender, both of these, and I'm just going to pop them in pots on either side of this one. this wall actually gets a lot of the western sun, so it's very hot here in the afternoons. So hopefully the lavender will survive and be able to kind of handle those sort of tough conditions. Okay, all of the plants have been placed now. I'm not sure if I've shown you all of my placements, but I will definitely show you when I do the garden tour. The next thing I'm going to do is just tidy up the vegetable patch here. I just need to cut some of the kale leaves are done, so I want to cut some of those. The French green beans are also done, so I'll pull those out. I'll pull out these two tomato trellises. They're really old and they're just basically broken and not really holding up the tomatoes anymore. And I will also pull out this cucumber here. But yeah, and then once I've done all that, I'll top up the soil and then start planting the other vegetables that I purchased. And I'm thinking in here, because we're about to get really hot, I might actually start seeding the cut flower seeds that I bought at the garden centre. And kind of just have this little space as a test drive and see how they go. And then as it gets hotter and the other vegetables sort of start to, you know, come to their natural sort of end, I can then start to plant flowers in other locations, and then hopefully throughout the really hot summer months we'll have like a really good lot of consecutive flowers to cut and have in the house. So I'm going to start that now. I'm going to pop you on a tripod and I will probably do a bit of a time lapse because you're not going to want to watch me do that in real time. Alright, so the next thing I'm wanting to do is plant some of these cut flower seeds. I've pulled out the green beans in this section and I think I might just trial some of their cut flowers. These are the seeds that I got. I got the Nigella, I have the dwarf mix straw flower, I've got teddy bear sunflowers, and I've got California poppy. So I'm just going to pop a few in through here with my little dibber and we'll just see what comes of it, what actually comes up, and it will just be beautiful to have some cut flowers for inside throughout the summer months. This is the pot that we bought at the garden centre. It's so beautiful with all of these sort of markings on it, and it's that off-white colour. So I'm going to actually pot this up, and it is going to sit up on here. So we've got this little saucer here that the pot will sit in, and it's sitting up on this little mushroom stand. And I'm going to be putting these violas in there just to give a bit of colour to that area because it's quite green. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so the next little project is these two pots here. We're just reusing, which is why these pots are dirty. Reusing these pots, and I'm going to be putting in the Blushberry Ruffles Lavender. So one in each pot on this wall. Hopefully they will withstand the sun. Alright, so I've got both pots sort of halfway filled with soil, and that's when I'm going to take my plant and I sort of just massage the pot a little bit just to loosen up the soil, and then I'm going to flip it and pull it out. So as you can see, it's quite root bound, so what I do with that is just gently sort of pull it out a little bit and then kind of center it as best as you can, and then fill it up all around with the soil so that there's no air pockets. And this is the little cluster here with the lavender planted. Forgive the dirt. I will get the blower out, and once I'm done, and blow all the excess dirt and all the other bits and pieces away. But I think it looks really gorgeous. Just adds a little something to this section, and then once the lavender sort of fill out in both the pots, I think it'll be beautiful. The smell is really beautiful as well. The lavender, you can really smell it in the air, which is nice, and I think it'll be a really lovely little corner to have when you're sort of walking through, because this is the main walkway here. So I think it'll just add a little bit of colour to this space. Alrighty, on to the next project. All right, it is actually a few days later now. The planting, man, it was a mammoth effort and it just wiped us out. It took pretty much most of the day, and then I treated Mum to a really nice, delicious lunch. Because yes, it was quite the effort to get everything in. I believe we've still got 2 plants to plant, but everything else is pretty much done now. So I wanted to just take you on a bit of a walk around the garden and show you where all the plants ended up and how it's looking, as well as just give you a bit of a early spring sort of garden tour, little cottage garden tour. So this plant here is new. There was a blue eyes in here that just didn't make it, unfortunately. So we planted one of those compact whites in here. And you can just see here. I'll show you a fully grown one of these when we sort of get into the main back garden area. But that's the little baby one there. You probably don't see this section of the garden very often. It's just a little practical sort of side access that we've just made beautiful. When I originally moved in, it was basically just these sort of rocks with these stones, and we've put in all the garden beds, put in some beautiful statues, we've got storage, we've got a potting table, a little potting shed down there. So it's just a really practical space that, yeah, kind of just, I don't want to say hides, but it kind of keeps all of the storage and all the sort of garden equipment in one sort of area of the garden, which is lovely. But so this is all looking really good. There is another new compact white in there. And they've got this beautiful little statue here. And then this is one of the fairy lights, the fairy light grasses in the top there. Conifers doing really well. These are some ivy, just trailing up the wall there. But yeah, so all looking really good. Okay, so now I've just sort of come into the back garden sort of proper area. It's probably not the best time of day. It is the afternoon, but the sun's at that angle that it may make it a little bit, well, hopefully you can kind of see it. Hopefully it's coming across okay. So planted the ground cover roses in here. So this is the pretty little sort of pink and peachy colored one here. And then this is the white one here. So you can see they've got all new buds on, so they will be, we'll be getting roses hopefully for the next couple of months, which will be amazing. And then we've got this absolutely stunning jasmine here, and it has started to flower for spring. So you can see here all the little buds, and then it's got these beautiful delicate little white flowers. The smell that is coming off of this jasmine is unbelievable. It perfumes pretty much this whole back garden, which is really lovely. This here is actually just the solar panel for the water feature, if you're wondering what that is. What else is happening in this little corner? This is a mini rose bush that sort of actually struggled a little bit a few months ago. So it kind of got a hard prune. And as you can see, it's just come back really lush. And we have got beautiful little blooms starting to come out. New ones here. So that will be beautiful in a couple of weeks. I'm pretty sure these ones here are the multicolored, so they're a red and sort of orange yellow mix in the color. If they bloom, I will try and, well, not if, when they bloom, I'll try and remember to show you just so you can see that in a coming video. Water feature is doing beautifully. You can see with this plant here, like, look at all of these beautiful little flowers. See the little white flowers here? It's just, I don't know if you can see that. It's absolutely covered in little buds. This is just going to erupt into beautiful white colour, little delicate flowers in the coming weeks. This is the new pot that we purchased. And we've got the little violas in here. They will fill out in the weeks to come. Just turn around slowly. So this is just the other side of the path. This conifer's really put on a lot of growth. Planted a few of the stripy whites in here just to sort of fill in this space. This plant is in a pot underneath there, you can see, and it has also just put on this beautiful burst of growth. This is all new growth here. Even this cascade lily pilly Look at all of the little blooms that are going to be coming soon. So this particular lily pilly, when it flowers, it kind of gets little sort of soft pom-poms, little white pom-poms on it, which are beautiful. So before I forget, this here, this bush that you can see, that is a compact white. So that is what all the other ones that we've planted around the garden will eventually end up looking like. I will take you for a little walk up this now finished pathway. It's just quite a sweet little walk up here. It's like a little magical walkway up into the little woodland area. What are the bees doing today? Oh yep, they're going in and out. This would be their productive sort of time of the day, so they're probably all out and about in the flowers. This is a blue eyes. And so I might just walk up so that you can see my shadows not in the way. So, just coming from this angle, you can see those gorgeous daisies there. They're just going to look absolutely beautiful in here. There's a lot of sort of green and white in this area. And these daisies will actually get quite tall, and so once they're tall and just full of those beautiful sort of pink and yellow flowers, it's going to look just stunning. So that's sort of that side. And you will remember from our video a few weeks ago, these are the freshly planted ginger and turmeric rhizomes. So they're all in ready for next year. So they'll just stay in these two pots now for pretty much until July next year. Eventually, you know, as the months go on, we'll see growth coming out. They'll become sort of quite large bushes. They flower, all sorts of things. But then eventually they'll sort of die back. And then in July next year, we'll harvest again. Also planted, this is the white daisy in this space here. Once it gets tall, they get about 90 centimeters. So once it sort of gets tall and fills out this space, I think it'll be really beautiful. Also planted a few little, I believe they're called pups, of these plants. I'll see if I can show you what they look like. But we'll just continue on up. These are those little silver flowers that we also got, I think, at the very first garden centre. Aren't those little purple flowers just so sweet? Such a delicate sort of lilac purple, and then that beautiful silver foliage. I suspect because they are a succulent, they might actually be quite a slow grower, but they'll look beautiful once they're filled in this section. So we'll just continue up here through the archway. And this is, you can see coiled around the archway is wisteria. So if we come in really close, hopefully you can see, will it focus? Oh yeah, you can see it's got all of its little buds coming out. So hopefully we'll get some beautiful green leaves, and then maybe it will flower. So it kind of goes all the way up. and around. And then even again, you can sort of see up here all the little buds that are starting to come out. I don't know if it's only, the wisteria's maybe only a year old, so it might still be too young for it to actually flower, but hopefully the leaves will all come back and it'll be very happy. So this is the walkway that I spoke about a few videos ago that has now been finished. So it kind of just goes up here into this pretty little woodlandy kind of area. I'm not sure whether I'd like to sort of clear this space a little bit and then maybe put like a little seat in here. I just think it offers a really unique view of this garden, and you know, you could sit there with your cup of tea and just look over the garden. It's actually, we've walked up, I don't know if it comes across on camera, but we've actually walked uphill on this path, so this point is actually quite high up in the backyard. So yeah, I'm not sure. It is sort of overlooked by these trees here. But I mean, if you got some sort of like a practical kind of a bench, it would be easy to sort of brush it off. It's just whether I would sit there. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, whether you think it would be a good idea to add a seat in this space here. Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to know. And then if you sort of come across, you can kind of see this is the sort of other unique view of this garden. Obviously the angle will be a little bit different from up here. If I go up a little bit further. And you're sort of just getting that really pretty view. Sound of the water. And it is sort of a shaded spot as well. So in summer when it's really warm, it could be a good place to sit. So I'll just head back down now. And even this little plant here, look at these little berries that it's got. It has never done that. Like, look at them all. Little red berries. I'm wondering if they're going to open up into flowers in the coming weeks. That'll be very exciting. Very curious about that. There's a few things like that in the garden that I'll show you that just, you know, I've never ever had these plants flower before, and they're just flowering this year. So I don't know if it's because it's an early spring. But anyway, we shall continue on. And this plant here is also getting beautiful little white flowers on it, but just on this one sort of branch here. So hopefully that will eventually go across the whole plant. The fruit trees have just put on so much growth. I'll swap sides, so hopefully it's sort of maybe a bit of an angle with the sun. This is the lemon tree here. This is all new growth. Like, look at these leaves. And you can tell that they're brand new. They're so soft. It's just in the last probably 2 weeks, I think, that it's just shot out with all of this new growth. And it is starting to flower as well. I don't know if you can kind of see just in here. They're the new lemon blossoms. Similarly with the orange trees, they've just shot out. Like, that down here is sort of the normal growth, and this is all new, all of this sort of top bit. This plant here that the bees absolutely love is the larger version of the compact white, and this is the purple one. We have actually bought a second one of these. Sorry about that, the camera just timed out. So as I was saying, we did buy a second one of these, and I will show you shortly when we get further down. I don't think it's planted yet, but we do have a second one of these. But that's just so you can kind of see its growth habit there. They're just really beautiful plants, and bees love them. And then what's going on around here? So we planted another one of the fairy lights and a compact white, and then this is the red crepe myrtle. Look at all the growth. I think I showed you this only like a week or two ago, and it was just little baby buds, and already she's just got all this amazing new growth. The little flame tree's almost done now with its flowers. These orange flowers were the flowers that it pretty much just, the whole arch here was just dripping in these beautiful little orange flowers. That's them there. The wildflowers are doing really well. We had some leftover violas, so we've just popped them in here along. This is a mini rose as well. And it just, maybe a month or so ago, it really started to struggle. So again, we sort of did a hard prune, and already it's coming back really lush and really healthy looking. So hopefully we'll start to get some beautiful flowers soon. And then just in here we've planted a few of the compact white as well as some of the fairy lights just next to the peach tree. So this one here is the peach tree. It did flower. Oh, that looks like there's still a flower on there. I don't know if you can see, I'll zoom in. This here is a little flower. It did flower, and it had a lot more flowers on it a few weeks ago. So hopefully we will get some peaches this year, which should be lovely. And I've sort of got this gap here, which I have planted a bunch of wildflower seeds. So I'll be curious to see how they come out. The bougainvillea is also starting to flower. So the bougainvillea kind of goes up this same arch as the flame tree. Beetroots are coming along. I planted some new beetroots, and I have started to harvest the beetroots. Started eating them last weekend, but like some of them are such a good size. Like look at this one here. So I will probably harvest that this weekend. The kale is still coming along really well. So just to explain, I mentioned earlier that we had planted some of the pups from this plant. So this here is what we call a little pup. So you can actually pull these off and plant them, and they get their own little root system and everything. So the plant kind of propagates itself. I think we probably only bought like maybe 3 or 4 of these, and we've got so many in the garden. They look beautiful when they're sort of mass planted, but yeah, you can just take these off and replant them, and they're really beautiful, and they're very hardy, which is amazing with our heat. onions are looking really good. They're getting really thick at the base, so I take it that that is a good sign. This is my very first time growing brown onions, but you can see some of them are just, yeah, really thick. But they've got a few more weeks to go. The new tomatoes we planted are looking really good, as are the new tomato sort of frames. Much better than those sort of green plastic ones. Just something, a little bit of support for them as they get bigger. So very, very happy with that. This gap all through here, as you would have seen earlier in the video, I planted the cut flower seeds. So nothing has emerged as yet, but hopefully soon we'll see little seedlings come up. The leeks are also going really well. They're quite, they were quite slow growers, but all of a sudden, again, in the last couple of weeks, they've really sort of just shot up and really thickened out. So hopefully we'll have some delicious leeks. This is also my first time growing leeks. Little baby cucumbers I've planted. These are they like the patio munches, or they're a very small sort of a cucumber. They're like a little mini cucumber. This plant here is the plant I showed you on the corner before. That's the really large plant with the purple flowers. We're going to pop that back here. I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. Spring onions doing really well, and I've planted some new ones. I use spring onions a lot, and I find that I've noticed some other people, when they harvest, they actually like pull the whole stem out of the ground with roots and all. I don't do that. I just sort of cut it sort of towards the base where the dirt is, and they kind of just, I sort of treat them as a cut and come again. So I tend to have a really long spring onion crop. They don't last forever, but you know, you get several months out of one spring onion sort of stalk if you cut it from the bottom and then let it regrow. Little sweet ground cover here. Look at these beautiful dainty little white and purple flowers. So pretty. This is all new growth here, all the red. Nothing's happening on the white crepe myrtle yet. She tends to not sort of start until about October, so we've got a little while to go. And then the only other plant I've still got to plant is this little fella here. So that's another fairy light, and we'll just be planting it in this section here. The beautiful yellow bidens are in, as well as the these beautiful apricot flowers, which just add a bit of colour. I think once both of them get a bit bigger and fill out a bit, they'll add a lot of beautiful colour to this sort of section. With this beautiful conifer, and then this here is a sort of wall of jasmine, but it tends to flower I think in December, so it's a summer flowering, whereas the other jasmine we saw on the other end of the garden was more of a spring flower. Just so much happening in the garden at this time of year. Another little compact white in there. This is the other one that I wanted to show you. Look at these. This plant, I'm not even sure what plant this is, but it's living in this sort of wine barrel looking pot. But it's got these little buds on it. that sort of come into this sort of purple hue, and you can see here that they're just starting to open up into these beautiful sort of pale pink mauvey flowers. It has never done that before. Very interesting, but there's quite a number of them on here. And then down here we've got a lace hydrangea, and as you can see, starting to flower here, and just now you can see the little petals starting to come out on these two here, but we've got a new little bloom coming through there, so that's going to be gorgeous in a couple of weeks. Another little compact white just in here. The little foxtails always look so cute. And then we've got the lavenders just in here that we planted together, which are looking really pretty. They smell gorgeous. But yes, there's the little garden update. So I hope you have enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the plants, sort of my process in how I place all the plants and then planting them, and then seeing the sort of final results and this little sort of early spring garden update. There is a lot happening in the garden at the moment with spring, lots of blooms coming out, lots of growth. So I'll try and keep you updated in future videos as new flowers and just all the different changes occur. Hopefully we'll get some peaches and things like that, so I'll share all of that with you. So if that's something that interests you, please subscribe and you'll be the first to know about all the new videos. But yeah, so I am going to leave this video here. I hope you have really enjoyed it. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.